everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Half a Nice Day podcast with your host, Joshua.
And Janine.
And today's is a very special episode again from my side.
As per usual.
As per the usual. Every episode is a special episode, but this one is about me turning the dirty 30, the 30.
Yes, it's Joshua's birthday tomorrow. And he is turning 30.
But by the time this episode is released, it'll be my birthday. We're recording on the 28th.
8th? Sorry, 27th. Your birthday's the 28th, dude.
My birthday's the 28th,
He doesn't know his
Sorry.
birthday.
And we are recording on the 27th, and this is the 29th episode on the last day that I am
29.
Yeah, Janine had brought this up a while ago.
Yeah. 29 years, dude. That's something to celebrate.
It is actually. I didn't do a lot on my 29th birthday.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But 30th, Janine has given me like a million surprises, and I still don't know if she's done with it or not yet. But yeah, it's the last day before I embark on my 30th journey, my 30th year journey. Mm-hmm. It is a weird age, I would say. I'm no longer considered a young adult and also not an elderly adult. So I'm in that space now.
You're in the middle.
Yeah, which I guess I have to journey on, and a lot of people say actually the 30 is the new 20.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
I have a lot of friends who are in their early 30s and they say that it is the best years of their life.
Really?
You know why? Because financially, usually in your early 30s, you're a little bit more stable than you used to in your 20s. Because in your 20s, you just got out of college, you just got out of university, you're just in the early stages of your career. 30s, you're a little bit more into it. You have more wisdom. Mm-hmm. You know how to handle your money better. You probably don't spend as much into things that are not that important.
You know, that's actually really true. And that was one of the points I wanted to talk about towards the end, but I think we can start off with that.
Yeah.
Because
sorry, I stole your thinking.
No, that's perfectly okay.
This podcast is supposed to be just him, and I'll just chime in whenever I need, but my mouth just blabbers on and on.
No, and I really like that because, you know, I do have that brain fog, as one would say, whenever I start talking. But yeah, money is something which I've been actually able to save in the last few months itself. And I've been working since 23, and I don't want to brag or anything but I've never seen my bank account with this much money.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to say as well, though.
Yeah. I think you should be proud of it, to be honest. A lot of people are ashamed about their money and they don't want to talk. Of course, it's not something that we're bragging about, but you should be proud about having the ability to save much, because that's difficult to do as well.
It's really difficult because in the 20s, I would say, in your 20s, and this episode is actually dedicated for everyone, not only the people who are turning 30, but the people who maybe need some guidance as well when in their 20s. But one of the few things that I've learned throughout my 20s is that's the time to make your mistakes. That's when you have to have your trials and errors. I'm not saying, guys, that in your 30s you cannot make mistakes and everything, but there are more consequences, I would say, when you hit 30 and you make a poor decision.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that you cannot do to bounce back up again.
Right.
Because when in your 20s you do take your risks, you have a chance to think outside the box, do things that which you never thought you could do if you just actually pursue it. Mm-hmm. And I think you can also agree, because in your 20s, that's when you took a lot of risks as well.
Right.
You did things which you didn't even see yourself doing when you were in your teenage years as well.
Yeah, and I think as we grow older, more risks are added onto our lives. Like, for example, once you start building a family, once you start getting married, you're dragging another person's life into yours as well. And once you start making those mistakes, then you're also dragging someone else into that. And then when you have kids, you're dragging your kids into that as well. So even for myself, even when I was single, for me, I felt like my life was less risky once I made like those decisions, like those rush decisions, because I always think about this is the time to do those type of decisions because I'm single. I'm not dragging anyone else. I don't have as much responsibilities as a mom or someone who has a family. And I'm not saying that at that time you can't make rush decisions. It's just that you have to make more calculated, risky decisions.
So true. Like if you have a bad investment when you are single, that's okay. The only person who's gonna deal with the consequences is you. But let's say if you are in a family and you're feeding four
children.
people, exactly. You cannot make a bad decision that will make you lose a lot of money in your bank.
Right.
It will have its repercussions, of course. So I think in your 20s, guys, really, I'm gonna say like ask the girl out. But the girl is not actually the girl. It's anything you want to do.
Ooh.
So if it's like ask the girl out, ask your boss for that promotion, ask your boss for that raise, ask that girl out as well, or conquer your fears. You have a fear of heights, go skydiving. That's like literally and metaphorically ask that girl out.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Ask that girl out or ask that guy out.
Sorry, ask the guy out. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not being sexist.
No, you're telling it
in
from
any way.
your perspective.
From my perspective as
Yeah.
well, guys.
Yeah.
But really like don't dream. I don't want to sound motivational because even motivation doesn't work for me at the end of the day, but I want you to actually wake up one day, make a list of all your dreams and whatever you want to do. Nothing too small, nothing too big, and just try to get those done and take it one day at a time.
Yeah. Baby steps.
Baby steps, yeah.
Right.
So that's something I learned away as well when I was navigating throughout my 20s. And the next thing I also want to talk about is not being too hard on yourself. And it's something like I have so many things that I want to accomplish in my life. And I would say I've only reached 50% of them until this date. And there's still 50% more to go. And you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. Like as long as you know you're working hard, as long as you're doing your best in whatever you do,
right?
You should not you should of course have a timeline, but do not be so cruel to yourself if you don't manage to make it. Because I think another reason why I'm really this way to the person that I am is the fact that I've seen my friends, I've seen social media, and they always talk about, oh, youngest billionaire, oh, youngest person to go to Mars, or youngest something like that. And it shows that it instilled in me that like, okay, if you haven't done this by the time you're 30, then what's the point? What are you doing in your life?
Right.
So, and then especially when you see your friends, when you see other family members who are like 30 and thriving and doing all these things which you haven't even touched or scratched the surface with, that's when you start feeling bad about yourself. Like, what did I do wrong? Is there something that I missed out on and all these things? So I don't know if you can also relate to it in a way, but then...
Yeah, I used to be like that, by the way. I used to look at people around me at that time and I'm like, why are they able to do this? Why are they able to be so confident? Because I always lack confidence. Why are they able to speak to people like that? Like how can they just stand in front of everyone and just like have this sense of command on people? And I always envy young people who could do that, people of my age. And then I realized like we're all walking through our own series of steps. Some people might be going or cruising through, a flat surface, and then at one point of their life it might be downhill and then they go up again. For ours, it might be a steep uphill and then it goes down and then it goes straight again. Like we all have our own series of hills and plains and valleys that we go through. And instead of comparing ourselves to others, take those people who you really look up to and envy in a way and use it as a positive thing to drive you and
So
say,
true.
I want to be like that person. How can I be like that person?
Yeah.
Right?
I like that because you, at the end of the day, you walk in your own shoes. No one is going to walk in your shoes for you. No one is going to help you in the way that you thought they would actually.
Yeah.
So it's also a good way to remind yourself
Yeah.
that everyone has a different path, everyone has a different journey, and everyone has different timelines. and they might have more resources than you, but if you really work hard enough, then you can actually accomplish whatever you need to do in your life, or whatever you set out, whatever goals and objectives you set out for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Which brings me to my next point is you can literally Google anything or even YouTube anything.
Yeah.
So when Janine and I also like edit this podcast, our first person we would ask for advice was Google or YouTube.
Google this, Google that.
Yeah, and there's a multitude of resources online. Anything you want to learn, even if you want to learn how to tie your shoes in a different way, you can find on Google.
Yeah. That's why they call it like Google or YouTube University.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I have my, and I was just talking to my colleague about this. My ex-boss from my previous job, he didn't graduate with a bachelor's degree. I think he finished high school and then he went off to work. And he was the head of a certain department for a really, really big company, an international company that is known everywhere. If I say my old company, all of the girls would know what it is. You
100%,
know?
yeah.
And this man didn't graduate with any bachelor's degree. I mean, even Mark Zuckerberg didn't graduate with a bachelor's degree, and he's like one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah.
Richest men in the world. So it just goes to show that I'm not saying that education is not important, because for me it was. But if you don't have the means to go to a reputable university, there is so much out there that can help you. You can learn on the job itself. You can intern. You can literally follow someone and learn from them. You can approach someone who you really admire and maybe ask that person if they can coach you or teach you, or maybe if they can grant you like an hour to have coffee and just talk about how did they get to their position right now. And that's what I did, actually. I sat down with my boss and I asked him, look, can you tell me how did you get to this place? Because I really admire how you went from here to here.
Yeah.
Without having a certain bachelor's degree, wherein most of the international companies everyone looks for, you have to have a master's, you have to have this, you have to have that, especially in big companies. So I was just very, very, I just really admired him for being in his position and being so smart about everything without having a bachelor's degree. And it just made me realize, like, you don't need all of these fancy diplomas from fancy schools to get somewhere. If you're smart and you have the guts to do it and you have the drive to do it, you can.
I 100% agree, because I'm going to also go a little bit off topic, and I want to say, like, even I've done my master's, but for me, I haven't felt its need as of now. Like, I did my master's degree 2 years, and everything that I learned there, I already knew from either from my bachelor's or from whatever I do at work.
Itself, yeah. It does help, don't get me wrong, in your
does,
CV, right?
100%. It makes your CV shine and stand out from other candidates as well. But then in terms of knowledge, I felt that I wasted some money in getting a master's degree just for the sake of that paper. But obviously there are some people who have actually benefited from doing their master's. So I'm not going to say anything about that. If you're a dropout, or if you've never finished a master's, or if you never finished even high school, I would say, doesn't mean that you cannot reach the levels of successful business people as well.
Right.
I know people who are learning the stock market from YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're making bank.
Yeah.
So yeah, just literally, if you have that drive, go on the internet, type in whatever you need to know. There's literally anything. If you want to learn anything, I even saw a video of how to turn on a computer with a banana.
What?
Yeah, so if you literally just type in those keywords and you can find anything.
Yeah, if you want to learn how to code, JavaScript, MySQL, C++, yeah, whatever. Ooh, you'll find all of that on the internet.
Yeah.
Just scrape the internet and you'll find it. You know, the reason why there are paid courses is because that is the easier route. Like, you just have to sit down and listen to a professor go on and cite all of these PDFs or books for you. But the reason why education on Google is free is because you have to work hard for it. You have to go through sources. You might stumble upon some that are not okay, some that are, not really true. And you have to go through all of these, I would say, crap to find the real thing rather than paying for someone to actually just give it straight to you.
Yeah.
Spoon feed you the education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just literally if you need anything, and that's why I'm also tired of people who have that excuse. No, but I will never learn it. I will never have time or someone to teach that to me. I'm like, make time for yourself, my guy.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Time. We all have the same time. We all have 24 hours.
Beyonce has the same number of hours in a day than me.
It's just
so
using
how you
them
spend
wisely.
it. Yeah, I spend half of it sleeping anyway.
Yeah, and that's what makes you happy, right? Success to everyone is different.
Very true.
Like success to me might be being happy, spending time with family, earning this much, and success to someone else is becoming a billionaire, or success to someone else is living a very simple life on a farm, and that's it. Really depends on the person.
Everyone is different.
Yeah.
Everyone is different. Which brings me also to my next point is I can tell, this is something that I learned in my 20s as well, that I can tell a lot about a person from the way that they treat other people and animals. Yeah. So I know we're not supposed to judge people and everything, but you can honestly tell how a person's character is from the way they treat anyone, whether it be the CEO of their company or even the janitor as well.
Yeah.
Especially animals. When I see like people like, because I've seen all these things like people attacking animals, throwing stuff at cats or dogs. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys, man?
Yeah. I think the more that you grow up, the more that you have that awareness of people, and you are able to read people much more than, in your younger age.
Yeah.
That comes with maturity, I guess.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's actually the key word. Yeah, it comes with maturity.
Yeah.
Because I think we spoke about this on the podcast as well before, when we're on a date and when you see the other party being rude to the staff.
I'm
like,
that person wouldn't get a
immediate
second
red
date.
flag. Yeah, guys. Treat everyone the same, man. I really don't like it when people like kiss ass as well when they try to suck up to people. Yeah, hold on to your own and just try to make other people feel like you actually want to talk to them and actually value them as a human being, at least.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, what is all of your wealth and money if you don't have a good relationship with people? Like
So
if
true.
you're not able to sleep good at night because there's so much guilt in your heart about not treating people right. Yeah. And it really, really helps for you to make someone feel special, feel at home, because you'll never know when you'll cross paths with that person again, even if it's a stranger.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. And that's the thing which I really love about Janine as well, that she has the same mindset as me when it comes to treating people. Obviously, Janine has a more of a temper, I would say, but that's, of course, when she is right. Janine will not get angry and be full aggro if she feels that she is wrong. If she feels that, if she feels that she is wrong.
Yeah, I can be feisty.
Yeah, she fights my fights for me.
Some of my friends who are watching this would be like, Janine, feisty? Like, no way. But sometimes I do.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even for me, when I get a wrong order at the restaurant, I'm like, my favorite.
Okay, thanks. I'll be like, nope. Sometimes only. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
When I'm right. When I know I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one is FOMO. And this is something which I am trying to overcome.
Can you explain to people what FOMO is? Because not everyone would know what FOMO is.
FOMO is the fear of missing out. So I'll tell you a story. There was a time when I was younger, maybe 3-4 years ago, when I felt that I wasn't invited to anything. And I knew this event was happening, like, my friend's birthday at a yacht, or my colleague having this thing or something like that. And
you have fancy friends.
I run with the high rollers, as one would say. But never invited. and I used to do this thing where I know, like, let's say Janine's at this party, so I would check her Instagram stories. Then I would see, this guy's there. Then I would go to this guy's Instagram profile and check his stories and see what actually went down on this party, so I would feel like I was there. But then in the last few months, I realized, like, for me, this is just a waste of time, and this is not going to get me anywhere. This might make me even more bitter, and I don't know if I'm that old person on the internet now who gets bitter at all these posts, or that I'm just now more mature.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just to understand that, okay, if this person doesn't want you there, don't take it personally. Maybe he had a budget for the amount of people who could come to this event, or
Right.
he didn't want me, or he didn't want the clique that I was with knowing that I was there. So
Maybe it was just a matter of, like he said, there was just a limited amount of people, and it's not like he didn't want you there, but it's more of the people that he wanted more of there
so true.
rather than not having you. I'm sure a lot of people would like to invite as much people as they want, but again, there might be a limited budget, or there might be just closer friends to his circle, right?
Yeah, and that's why I decided, like, I should not take these things personally, because there are also some events when I say, oh no, I'm busy that day, and I've also rejected. So maybe they feel like, okay, don't there's no point of asking Josh, so he might just say no. So
Yeah.
I understand it as well. It's not always gonna be them, but I just want to eliminate this fear of missing out. If I can't be at a certain event or something, or a birthday or whatever, I just won't dwell on it as much. Like, okay, now I said no, I made my decision. Now let me see what else I can do in this time, or if I have other commitments, I will attend to it.
Yeah. You know what I do? Remember that time when my old company had this party, this Christmas
Oh
party,
yeah, yeah,
and I
you
wasn't
told me
able
this,
to
yeah.
go because I was exposed to someone who had COVID. And at the time, I was quarantining myself just to be sure that I don't have it as well. So I didn't attend the party. And what I did to eliminate the fear of missing out was to not look at my social media that night and the next day, because I knew that people would be posting about that party and I'll feel bad that I'm not able to go. And I just always think to myself, like, things happen for a reason. Like, that particular event happened, I was exposed to a certain person for a reason, and I didn't go for a reason. So it is very difficult to say things happen for a reason, especially when it goes negatively. It doesn't go the way that you've envisioned it to be. Because it was my last Christmas party with the company, and I was like, I really want to go and spend this last party because we always have grand parties. But things happen for a reason. Like, if you're not, if it didn't happen, something better will come along, probably another party, or it was just not meant to be. And I think the more that I grow, older, the easier it becomes to accept these type of things.
Yeah. And I remember that day as well, because I remember how you told me as well, this is your last company party for this company because you're leaving it. And that you're like, oh, this is going to be nice, seeing everyone again for the final time in a gala setting.
Yeah.
But you weren't as upset after that when I tried to interact with you as well after that time. And you seemed okay, you seemed calm, you seemed content. Like, okay, then I realized that you felt the same way as you just said. Like, there's a reason for everything. Maybe this just wasn't my final goodbye with them, and all these things. So yeah, that's how I also want everyone to view what I said and what we just talked about the FOMO part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is difficult, especially, I guess, when you're younger and when it's really important to you. But just think of it as, if you dwell on that and you just let the negative feelings occupy your mind, what will happen? Right?
Yeah.
If you just sulk and be like, oh my gosh, it didn't happen.
It'll take you to a very bad place, guys.
Yeah, and
very,
it
very bad
will
place.
become a ripple effect to whatever's happening to you. Like, someone might comfort you and you might push them away, and your relationship might have a little bit of a friction because of that. So
Yeah.
try and, like, control your feelings and try to tell yourself, look, this happened, but I'm not going to allow it to overcome my whole day, week, month, or whatever. Because there's so much more to come,
So true.
and you can make it much better.
So true. I like that.
Yeah.
So my next point also is I'm gonna have a hard time explaining this, because in my head I know the feeling, but I don't know if you can help me with this.
Okay.
But it's like, life is not always gonna be highs. It's not always gonna be, oh, I'm gonna get this, I'm excited about this, I'm excited about that, or this event is coming, and all these things. But it's also gonna be those boring moments, when nothing ever happens. It's not even gonna be considered a low. it's just gonna be considered something which is like like time is still, and you don't know what you're doing, and those are the moments as well which you should always cherish. Does it make sense? I don't know if it does.
Yeah.
So like what I'm trying to say is like, okay, like let's say you're not gonna have a new opportunity at work every day. You're not always gonna have something exciting happening every day of the week. There are gonna be weeks where you realize, oh, the week is over, nothing happened. So and I should be able to learn and be content with that as well. Because for me, you know me, I'm a patient guy when it comes to a lot of things, but I always want results fast, 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 fast.
Yeah.
And Janine has seen this firsthand. Like I get upset when I learn about something and then I'm not able to tackle that in the same day at least.
Right.
Yeah, I want the results of a hard work. I want the results of hard work without actually having to do this said hard work.
But that makes it much more like the result itself. Once you get to it, it makes it much more special, right? Because you've worked hard for it.
So true.
You pushed through. And if you get high results every single day, then what is the definition of high anymore?
You know, we I don't know if you remembered, but this when we did our road trip once, we played that game Would You Rather in the car, right?
Yeah.
And we spoke about, would you have a life which is like constant, or what is the other option? Do you remember this day?
Or a life of like highs all the time?
I can't remember, but then you explained it so well to me that day. Like you said, like you don't want a life full of excitement no, I just can't remember what happened, but you explained it to me so well, and that's what I always remember from that road trip. Because you spoke about like if there's highs every day, you will not always feel the value of the times when you are feeling low.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if it's always high, 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 then what is a high and a low? Isn't high, high, high all the time just the straight path?
Exactly.
Right? Because you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
There's no high and a low anymore.
Exactly. There's no way to gauge it, you know?
Right.
Like let's say, okay, I got my first $1 million. And in a few months, when I get my $2 million, I will think, oh, this is nothing. I've already made 1 million a few months ago.
Right.
So there's no way to actually gauge it. So I think that time in between two different events actually makes a big difference in your character as well. How patient you are. And like what you said as well, it's the things that are worthwhile. Those are the things that take time.
Right.
Like even if I have something instant, like let's say if I make $10 million like this in the lottery, that 10 million won't mean as much to me as me doing something out of my way, starting my own business or doing something which I've fully invested in, took time, took all my resources and put everything into one and earned that 10 million from my own hands.
Because something that you give patience towards to and work hard towards to will also make you take that certain thing or your certain goal much more to heart. Because imagine getting $1 million with a click of a button. You'll also be able to spend that $1 million with the click of a button. That much. Like it's easier to let go of it because it came so fast. But imagine something you've worked so hard for. You'll actually cherish it much. You'll cherish it much more that you'll be smart about giving it away. Right?
So true.
That's how I think about it.
So
And
true.
and just to add to what you were saying earlier, like there won't be any high if there are no lows. Like what is a high if there's no opposite of low? What is a big if there's no small? So you have to go through smalls and you have to go through lows in order for you to achieve and say that I'm actually on a high moment right now because I've gone through the lowest of lows and I've gone through shitty moments in my life. And I can consider this as a high.
Yeah. Like imagine how exhausting it would be as well if you have 24 hours in a day and let's say 23 of those hours you're just like pa 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 pa.
True. Achieving results left and right, winning left and right.
Yeah, you won't really appreciate it as well. It's going to be very exhausting for you. And I think that's the beauty of life as well. There's so many moments where you just have to be patient, where you just have to lay low, you just have to just relax and also recuperate and rejuvenate and get back into that flow as well.
Agreed. Low times are good. appreciate the low times.
Yeah.
Because when a high comes in, it'll be much more of a win for you, of a
Yeah, it's going to
feat
be
for you
such a great reward that you
that you
feel.
got there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which brings us to my last point. But I've added something as well as we were talking, and it's I already spoke a little bit about money, and this is the first time in my 8 years of working where I'm actually saving money. Because I now understand the value of money. Like, I know that I don't have to eat a bucket of KFC every once a week. And I'm not that age, where I was 20 when you can like eat a full bucket of KFC, wake up at 2 p.m. the next day and stuff. So that's also one thing that I've learned is my body is not the same as it used to be.
Definitely.
Yeah, like I could sleep 2 hours in a day or 14 hours in a day and still feel the same. I could eat a full bucket of KFC, fries, buns, whatever, and still go out, do my thing.
So those who are in their teens and their 20s, early 20s, appreciate your body because it'll get much more difficult to build muscle, much more difficult to lose weight, much more difficult to function.
Yeah.
You'll start feeling backaches.
Janine, when she gets up from a couch, you can hear something crack, and that always scares me. I'm like, literally standing up from a couch. Get your life together.
Like,
it's like, what is this bubble pop? So when you put your like china in, what is that? I forgot it.
Bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap. Like literally when Janine stands up from a couch all the time.
That's me.
Yeah, but always take into account and appreciate your body for what it is. It'll not be the same throughout your life. Take care of it mentally and physically.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your body is not just the physical body; it's also your mental health.
Exactly. Like you can have the fittest body, but the saddest mind, and you should always find a balance in it.
Yeah.
And just actually start taking care of your body in your 20s. I mean, you can go a little bit overboard. You can jump off from like a 100-meter cliff, whatever you want to do, and all these things, and you'll still be okay. But as you grow older, it will not be the same. Your knees will give in.
To wobble a bit.
You'll make too many appointments with a chiropractor, whatever you want, but just. Oh, I thought you were appearing.
No, sorry, I was just saying me.
Don't leave me hanging.
Wait, hold on. There you go.
Yeah, and so which comes back to my point. Okay, it doesn't come back to my point, but that's something I just wanted to add in. This is the importance of saving money. You will actually need it for a rainy day in the future, especially now with COVID hitting us. You never know if you have your job tomorrow when you go back to work. And just a general rule of thumb, which Jenny and I have also spoken about, is have at least 3 months worth of salaries in your bank account.
Yeah, for whatever happens.
That'll make all the difference as well. That will sustain you for a little while you're on your next job hunt or what you decide to do with your life. And in closing, the final thing that I want to also just remind everyone to have is a passion or a hobby. I really don't like the fact that people these days now are consumed by work. They are workaholics. We should not use that word in a positive sense now, because I want people to actually keep their 9 to 5 job separate, and then once they're done at their 5, they go pursue something else, whether it be like Janine used to be Janine's a very skilled photographer. She spent a lot of time doing that. I'm doing comedy. We're doing this podcast. We have our joint passions and our individual passions. And there's so much, how do I say this? So much reward and so much to gain from just having a hobby which you really enjoy, which you can get lost in, which you can actually enjoy doing. And I found a new one which I actually enjoy doing because of this girl right here, which is journaling. And a lot of friends have been telling me to do this as well. And there is so much joy in writing down stuff, especially when the ink hits the paper and you put in your thoughts on this piece of paper, and it just really gets a lot out of your heart, and you feel like you released a full burden onto a book.
Yeah, it's rewarding for me. Like, journaling is, especially during tough days, it literally feels like I'm offloading the burden from my mind, from my heart onto a piece of paper. And I do it usually before I sleep, and I just write down my thoughts. And sometimes to me, it's very therapeutic because while I'm writing down the words, it makes me understand why I was feeling those things during that moment. and it makes me
Exactly.
more self-aware the next time it happens. And there's just, I don't know, there's just something with writing down the words and offloading those feelings onto a piece of paper. It just try it, guys. Like, you don't have to write a novel. It can
Yeah.
just be few
Bullet points,
words.
yeah.
It can just be bullet points, and see, like, some people journaling works, for some people it doesn't. But for me it works, for you it works, and for a long time I've been asking him to try
It's
it, and he
way
was
too long.
so, how do I say it? Not negative, but you were like,
Hesitant.
nah, very hesitant. He
Yeah.
was like, nah, I'm not sure about it. I'm not sure about it. But he tried it and it really works. Again, for some people it does. For some people it doesn't. But you only know if it works or not if you try it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're really good with writing. So,
I'm a better writer than I am a speaker. But then just to add to that, another thing which is beautiful about journaling, which I've seen very early with Janine, is that she read to me some of her journal entries. And you can see how much she's grown from like 3-4 years ago when she was like, I don't know, heartbroken eating at a McDonald's to now where she is. So it's really refreshing, when you think about it. We are so hard on ourselves and we don't realize that we've come such a long way from the person we were in the last year or the last week or in the last month. Because every day we are growing, and that also has a lot of value as well to who you are as a person. And it's good to have that because you can use that as a foundation, especially when you move forward, or a benchmark.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really nice. Like, sometimes I go back to my diary or journal from like years back, where I used to say, I'll have a car when I get older, I'll have my own apartment.
We
And
read those together and it was
right?
so beautiful. And we were reading it in Janine's new apartment as well. So it's like,
I know.
can you look at this? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And it just makes you, it just humbles yourself.
makes you really feel gratitude and to some
Yeah.
extent.
And grounded. Like, if you need something to make you feel grounded, look at your journal way back. Look at pictures from way back and just remind yourself of how you were feeling at that moment.
Yeah.
And you'll feel much more proud of yourself for what you've achieved
Yeah.
over the years. And know that I'm very proud of you and everything that you've achieved.
Thank you.
He's been dreading his 30th birthday for a while now.
I was dreading it, to be honest, but actually recently when because Janine every day she sends me some sort of affirmation or some sort of reason that I should feel proud that I'm about to embark on my 30s. And ever since then, like, don't get me wrong, I was feeling really down about hitting 30 because I'm like, because have like what I said as well, like I haven't accomplished a lot of things that I was set out for. But Janine just put me back and like sat me down and reminded me that 30 is not like the end of life, man. It's like a lot of people say it's the beginning of everything. That's when you start your families. That's when you get your life together. Because the 20s are your trial and error period. So I just want to thank Janine as well. I found that person who listens to me whenever I talk and the one who I listen to whenever she talks. So I think that's
Find
did I
someone
say
you
that
can,
right?
yeah. Find someone who can be your best friend
Exactly.
and just offload your thoughts.
Exactly.
That can also be a journal. That can be a person. That can be God. That can be anyone. It can be yourself.
Seriously, that's very true. Just find that person who will listen to you, and just also ensure that it's not a one-way relationship, but you will also be there for that person whenever they need you. Because we always need that support. We always need that backbone to a friendship or a relationship or whatever it may be. It can be anyone, like what Janine said. It could be God, it could be your journal, it could be your parents, could be your brother or sister. But always have that one person who's your support system and will help and listen to you on your bad and good days.
Yeah. And to be honest, that can be us too. And if you want to offload on us, if you want to reach us, if you want to ask us any questions, advice, or just send us anything, you can send us an email at haveaniceday@gmail.com. You can DM us on Instagram at Have a Nice Day Podcast. And if you want to stay anonymous, you can send us a Google form of handy advice. The link would be on the YouTube description, on our show notes on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And please, 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 if you really want to help us and if you want to help us grow, you can follow us again on Instagram. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts
or Google Podcasts.
That really helps us if you send in the ratings, because that notifies Apple that, hey, there's this podcast that everyone's enjoying. And share it to your friends, share it to your family members, to your colleagues. You know, a lot of people come to us and tell us that they listen to us during their break times, or when they're working, or when they're driving to work, or driving back home from work, and the commute on the train. And, you know, you can listen to us whenever you want to listen to us, while you're in the gym. And we hope that we're able to bring a little spark of joy to your day or night, or whatever time you're listening to us, to either through a sound format or through a video format now that we have YouTube. So share it away.
Yeah, tell your friend to tell a friend.
Yeah, just we hope that we're able to bring a little bit of positivity to your... That's the goal of our podcast, and that's all we want. So whenever someone messages us about, thank you so much for, you know, bringing a smile to my day, that to us is the reason why we do this.
That's like $1,000 in my bank.
Yeah, even if there's just one person who says that, or one person who follows us, that makes our day.
Yeah.
So much more worth. Because we don't earn any money from this. We actually spend more money trying to put this out there.
And a lot of time as well.
And a lot of time. Yeah. But we love it, and it really, really fulfills us.
We love it. We would do it all day if we could.
And we're already on the 29th episode, guys. So thank you for getting us this far. Thank you for following us. We cannot thank you enough. And if you will, and if you may, just send us a positive message or a comment on this YouTube video.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it.
Yeah, guys. Don't love yourselves and love everyone around you.
Yeah.
And 90s kids, your time is coming. You're hitting 30 soon.
Right.
Listen to this whenever you feel like you need a pick me up or something.
Yes. Yeah. 30s is the new 20s, is the new teens. Yeah. It's the start of a good life.
Yeah. And if you want, and Janine, obviously her birthday, her 30 is coming in September, so you can also watch the space for what Janine has learned or what Janine has taken away from this podcast, and maybe.
Right. That will be a few episodes down the line.
Yeah.
I'm turning 30 soon, guys.
So stay tuned, guys.
Very excited for it. Yeah. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you, everyone who's going to wish me, who has wished me, and Janine has put a very special video for me as well, and I'm gonna take time to thank each one individually and personally. Really meant a lot to me. It's a 45-minute movie, as Janine would say, but it was really touching. I didn't expect it. And there's a special guest from one of my favorite bands in the world there as well. So Janine really went above and beyond her call of duty to make me happy on my 30th birthday. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
thank you for being awesome and for touching our lives.
That's what I'm trying to do.
And on that note,
have a nice day.
Oh.
That was the worst one I think we've ever done.
I think so.
There was someone off. I don't
you
know
were
if it
off.
was you.
Wow, you're accusing me of being off, dude.
Have a nice day.
Oh, goodness. Thank you, guys. We love you.
We like you as a friend.
Happy birthday, Joshua.
Thank you. Thank you for everyone listening.
Bye.
Bye.
That was good.
45 minutes.